Hey guys, Walls here with the final discussion of the tragedy of Julius Caesar. This is Act 5. This is the resolution of the act. Now, historically, scholars have said that this is kind of the climactic act of the play. Think back to our study of Mice and Men. You had you had a major incident in the third act. In this case, in the Mice and Men, you had the death, or not the death. You had the death of Curly's or Candy's dog, and then you had the fight between Curly and Lenny. That was a major conflict, and then we knew that something was going to happen because of that, but we didn't know what yet. And then in the final act of Mice and Men, chapters 5 and 6, you had Lenny kill Curly's wife, and then you could almost argue that that was the climax of the novel, and that was very late in the novel. Just so here you have what a lot of people consider the climax of the play. You have the final battle between Brutus and Cassius's armies, and Octavius and Antony's armies, and let's see how it all shakes out. Here we go. Get it? Shakespeare shakes out. Okay. All right. So let's review what happened in Act 4. Brutus decides that we'll march to Philippi to confront Antony and Octavius. We're asking ourselves, is this the best course of action? And then later in the act, Caesar's ghost visits Brutus and says that they will meet at Philippi, which tells us that Brutus should not go to Philippi, but he does anyway. So throughout this play, we're kind of, we watch these men do things, and the whole time we're wondering, like, if they had done things differently, would they all still be alive? Then, here we go. All right. So the quick check. Question number 1. What does Cassius believe will happen this day in battle? Let's go to the play. Cassius and Antony or Octavius and Antony are talking. Let's find Cassius here. Yeah. So this whole first part right here is what they call a parley. So they meet at the battlefield and exchange words. Basically, this is kind of where the generals meet up before the fight, and kind of they have got like one more chance to say no, okay, well, let's back off and let's make this, let's work this out. But they meet and exchange words, and they insult each other, and they break apart. They're gonna fight. The fight's gonna happen. All right, so Cassius calls Messala over and he says, "Today is my birthday, as this very day was Cassius born. Give me thy hand, Messala. Be thou my witness that against my will, as Pompey was, I am compelled to set upon one battle all our liberties." Basically saying, like, this wasn't my idea, but this is where it ends, one way or another. You know that I held Epicurus strong, and his opinion now I change my mind, and partly credit things that do presage. Coming up from Sardis on our former ensign, 2 mighty eagles fell, and there they perched, gorging and feeding from our soldiers' hands, who to Philippi here consorted us. This morning they are fled away and gone, and in their steads do ravens, crows, and kites fly over our heads, as we were sickly prey. Oh, a flyer and downward look. So basically, he's saying, this Epicurus, like I was a firm believer in this guy who did not believe in omens. And earlier in the play, remember when was it Casca was all like, "Man, I saw some weird stuff today. Things are good." And Cassius was like, "You fool! Like things are the way we make them. There's no such thing as like signs and omens." Well, on the way to Philippi, uh, Cassius sees these signs, and he's like, "Well, I think actually, like, we're going to lose." He says, "Our army lies ready to give up the ghost." So Cassius says, "Okay, I partly believe it. Like, yeah, there's a part of me that feels like we've got this in hand. We're going to succeed, but a big part of me also believes that we're going to die today." So they go to fight. They go to battle. What's our next discussion here? Oh yeah, there you go. What happens to Cassius? Okay, so they go fight. So Cassius fights Antony and loses. His army loses. Let's go here. Uh, duh, 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 duh. Okay, so this is after the battle, and this is a while, several hours later. So Cassius's army loses to Octavius, and now Cassius and Titinius um, are left, and he sees, look, the villains fly. They're retreating. Myself have to mine own turned enemy. This ensign here of mine was turning back. I slew the coward and did take it from him. So basically, Cassius is saying his army is retreating and they're cowardly, and he actually killed a member of uh, his own army for trying to retreat, and took the flag, their army's standard, from him. So, Titinius is like, yeah, like things are bad, we lost. And Pandarus says, fly further off, my lord, fly further off. Pandarus is trying to convince um, Cassius to keep running because Mark Antony is in his camp, and Cassius needs to get farther away. Cassius says, this hill is far enough. Look, look, Titinius, are those my tents where I perceive the fire? And Titinius says, they are, my lord. Titinius, if thou lovest me, mount thy horse and hide thy spurs in him till he have brought thee up to yonder troops. And here again that I may rest assured whether yonder troops are friend or enemy. So Titinius is like, all right, I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go see what the situation is. So Pandarus, he tells Pandarus to get up on the hill and just say, hey, like, um, follow Titinius here, and let me know what happens. And then he kind of sits to himself and says, this day I breathed first, time has come round. And where I did begin, there I shall end. My life has run his compass. Sirrah, what news? So he's saying, like, right here, my life has come full circle. And Pandarus says that Titinius has been taken by the enemy. He is taken, and hark, they shout for joy. So Pandarus reports to Cassius that Titinius, Cassius's best friend, has been taken by the enemy, and Cassius is like, oh no, that's bad. Now, and Cassius tells Pandarus, like, I took you prisoner. I saved your life, and so you owe me. Like, basically, anything I tell you to do, you have to do. So now take this sword that I once used to stab Caesar and kill me with it. And Pandarus does. He kills Cassius, and Cassius says, Caesar, thou art revenged, even with a sword that killed thee, and he dies. And Pandarus is like, I'm free, and I'm going to get out of here. Bye. Okay, so here we actually learn with Messala and Titinius here. Remember, Messala is one of Cassius's men, that there was a mistake. Cassius thought that Titinius had been taken by the enemy, but actually Titinius was meeting up with with Brutus's army. So everything is actually fine. Okay, so let's keep going here. Oh, let's see here. What happens to Cassius? Cassius thinks that he caused his best friend to be captured by the enemy, so he convinces Pandarus to kill him. All right, what happens in the first battle? Okay, so here's what happens. Brutus defeats Octavius, and Antony defeats Cassius. So what you have left is a Brutus versus Antony showdown in the final battle. All right, so what's our next question here? What happens to Brutus later? So after that battle, let's go. Okay, so Brutus and Antony fight. And you have Brutus saying, yet countrymen, oh, yet hold up your heads, keep fighting. And Cato says, what bastard doth not? Who will go with me? I will proclaim my name about the field. I am the son of Marcus Cato. Ho, a foe to tyrants and my country's friend. I am the son of Marcus Cato. So they go back to fighting. Now Cato is slain. Things are not going well. And let's see here. Oh, yeah. So Mark Antony defeats Brutus's army. And Lucilius here is captured, and they think they've captured Brutus, but they've actually just captured this Lucilius guy. And Antony's like, "Where's Brutus?" And he says, "Safe, Antony. Brutus is safe enough. I dare assure thee that no enemy shall ever take alive the noble Brutus. The gods defend him from so great a shame. When you do find him alive or dead, he will be found like Brutus, like himself." So basically, no matter what happens to Brutus, he's going to be his noble self, and he's not going to be taken alive. So they've lost. This is later. Brutus sits down with some of his soldiers, and he talks to his. So he's like, yeah, like I saw the ghost of Caesar. He's appeared to me. He says, I know my hour has come, and so he's basically like telling all his men, like, I need you guys to hold my sword so I can run on it, and they won't do it. So Brutus is left with Strato. And Strato wakes up and he says, let's see, where are we here? Oh, yeah. I prithee, Strato, stay thou by thy lord. Thou art a fellow of good respect. Thy life had some smatch of honor in it. Hold then my sword and turn away thy face while I do run upon it, wilt thou, Strato? And so Strato holds Brutus's sword while Brutus runs himself through with it. And that is the end of Brutus. So there we go. He kills himself by his own sword. All right, next, why, according to Antony, did Brutus kill Caesar? Let's go all the way to the end here. Here we go. This was the noblest Roman of all. He's speaking at a kind of a funeral for Brutus. All the conspirators, save only he, did that they did in envy of great Caesar. He only, in a general honest thought and common good to all, made one of them. His life was gentle, and the elements so mixed in him that nature might stand up and say all to the world, this was a man. So Antony says that Caesar or Brutus killed Caesar because Brutus honestly, genuinely thought that was the right thing to do. Everyone else killed him just because they were jealous. All right, guys, that's the tragedy of Julius Caesar. Make sure you know this stuff for your test next week. Hope you guys have a good weekend and a good testing experience on Monday.